What happens when the bedrock of national security is shaken by accusations from within? Imagine a scene of intense confrontation where a top defense official entrusted with the nation's secrets and its military might is grilled by a lawmaker who is also a combat veteran. The allegations are explosive. Using the armed forces for political theater on American streets, mishandling classified information in a chat group with family and a journalist, and evading critical questions about allegiances to allies and the Constitution. The exchange that follows is not just a policy debate. It's a raw display of frustration, stonewalling, and a direct challenge to the very integrity of leadership. Is this a case of a dedicated public servant under a partisan onslaught? Or are we witnessing a dangerous erosion of accountability at the highest level of government?
It shouldn't come as no surprise that I have serious concerns with both the deployment of the National Guard and the Marines to Los Angeles. I served in the Marine Corps. We are trained to be war fighters, not for crowd control. Everyone here should be alarmed that the president has sent armed forces into a city against the wishes of a governor and mayor. I am concerned this administration is purposely escalating the situation with this step and politicizing our armed forces in the process. Let's call it for what it is. It's political theater. Hegseth, are the Marines in Los Angeles ordered to protect property by any means necessary?
Sir, I would say the ICE officers and police officers being attacked is not political theater. The National Guard and Marines,
just yes or no. Just yes or no.
The National Guard and Marines have the full authority to protect federal ICE agents.
Yes or no.
Can
you just say yes or no? This isn't Fox anymore. Just yes or no.
They're there to protect federal agents and federal.
Another BS answer. Under the SRUF, the use of force, are Marines allowed to fire warning shots?
No.
Now that's more like it. Isn't that easy? Well, I'm going to beat this drum because you refuse to take responsibility. Will you take responsibility for having made a mistake? Not to mention, many people would say break the law in participating in the Signal group chat that included a journalist, your wife, your brother, where classified information was shared.
Sir, every way I communicate is authorized. Every way I communicate.
Okay, if you want to say that. I have called for your resignation. I didn't think you were qualified before your confirmation, and you have done nothing to inspire confidence in your ability to lead competently. You broke the law in sharing classified information, and in doing so, endangered the lives of our service members that you are responsible for. Your inability to hold yourself accountable makes you incapable to lead. This alone makes you unfit to be the Secretary of Defense. Secretary, do you think the United States should continue supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russia, a nation that is hostile towards the United States?
Well, as you know, sir, President Trump is committed to peace.
No, I just want yes or no answers.
Today, the United States has spent billions of dollars.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Over years.
Just yes or no. Can I get a yes or no out of you?
We continue to send.
Come on.
Presidential drawdown.
It's that easy. Kindergartners can give me a yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes, we support peace in Ukraine.
Come on. Is this really leadership? You're an embarrassment to the United States. If Russia invades NATO allies, are you going to recommend to the president that we fulfill our Article 5 obligations?
Well, Russia has not invaded NATO allies.
No.
President Trump has
No. I reclaim my time. Yes or no? It's that simple.
There's Article 5 in NATO, which we recognize.
So is the answer yes or no?
That's what Article 5 is, yes.
Good. I'm glad you brought yourself to saying yes. Do you think political allegiance to Trump is a requirement for serving our nation, either in uniform or a civilian in the department?
I'm incredibly proud, as there are millions of Americans.
No. Not today, Hegseth. Yes or no?
Congressman, you know what a silly question that is.
But silly enough
fidelity
to
to the
warrant a
Constitution.
very straightforward answer, yes or no?
We all support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
You know what?
We're proud of
I'm not going to
President
waste
Trump.
my time anymore. You're not worthy of my attention or my questions. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. And there's been bipartisan members of Congress that have called for your resignation. You should just get the hell out and let somebody competently lead this department.
Mr. Chairman, do we not have any decorum in here?
The confrontation we've witnessed is more than just a heated political exchange. It is a clinical dissection of power, accountability, and the tactical use of language in the high-stakes arena of national security. On one side sits a lawmaker, a former Marine, employing a relentless prosecutorial strategy. On the other, a Secretary of Defense, who uses the vocabulary of bureaucracy and political deflection as both a shield and a weapon. The core of this clash is built on the lawmaker's demand for simple binary answers yes or no to questions of profound consequence. This tactic is designed to strip away ambiguity and force a position. We see it fail repeatedly as the Secretary masterfully pivots, reframes, and stonewalls. When asked if the U.S. should continue to support Ukraine, the answer isn't yes or no, but a politically crafted statement. President Trump is committed to peace. This is not an answer. It is a narrative shield, an attempt to sidestep the question entirely by invoking a higher authority and a different subject. The only time the yes or no tactic succeeds is on a technical question regarding the rules of force. Are Marines allowed to fire warning shots? The answer is a stark number. This brief moment of clarity only serves to highlight the deliberate opacity of all his other responses. The lawmaker builds his case on 3 pillars of accusation, each probing a different facet of leadership and integrity. First, the domestic deployment of Marines to Los Angeles, which he frames as a dangerous political theater. By highlighting his own military service, he argues that warfighters are being misused for crowd control, not to protect federal agents, as the Secretary claims, but to politicize the armed forces. Second, he questions the Secretary's commitment to America's core alliances, forcing him to begrudgingly affirm his support for NATO's Article 5 after significant evasion. But the most damning charge, the one that shifts the hearing from policy critique to a question of criminal conduct, is the allegation of sharing classified information in a Signal group chat that included his wife, his brother, and a journalist. The Secretary's response is a masterclass in non-denial denial. Sir, every way I communicate is authorized. This statement avoids confirming or denying the specific act, leaving the shocking allegation to hang in the air, unanswered and therefore amplified. The lawmaker seizes on this, declaring the act broke the law and endangered service members. Beyond the tactical sparring, this exchange illuminates profound themes of responsibility and integrity. The entire hearing is a desperate attempt to impose accountability on a figure who refuses to accept it. The lawmaker's escalating frustration mirrors a broader public anxiety about the erosion of established norms. The question about whether political allegiance to Trump is a requirement for serving our nation is the ultimate probe into this anxiety. The Secretary dismisses it as a silly question, but his refusal to give a direct no is, in itself, a chilling answer for his critics. This isn't an isolated incident between 2 men. It is a microcosm of a larger political conflict, one where fealty is pitted against constitutional oaths, and where the institutions designed for oversight are met with a wall of strategic ambiguity. The lawmaker's final, explosive outburst, where he calls the Secretary an embarrassment and demands he get the hell out, is a stark violation of decorum. Yet, in the context of the preceding evasion, it feels less like a loss of temper and more like a declaration of failure, the failure of the system to elicit truth and enforce accountability. So, to answer our initial question, is this a partisan attack or a genuine crisis of leadership? Based on the evidence in this exchange, the Secretary's consistent refusal to answer direct questions on matters as grave as classified information, security and military deployment suggests a leadership style fundamentally at odds with the principles of transparency and accountability. The lawmaker's methods may be aggressive, but his questions target the heart of the Secretary's fitness for office. The scene does not depict a public servant weathering a political storm, but rather an official who appears to believe he is not answerable to the oversight body before him, nor to the public it represents. The ultimate verdict is left to the viewer, but the evidence points to a profound and troubling disconnect between power and responsibility. What do you think? Was the lawmaker's frustration justified, or was it a theatrical performance? Is the Secretary a victim of political theater, or is he unfit to lead? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis.